Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bill. This video is going to be a update of a review of the Black Flag's first release of the game mechanics and such. I've actually read 90% of it now, so I now have a better grasp of it. It's not a big read, it's just me trying to locate time. And then once I got down to the end of it, I was like, now it's into the small details that I wouldn't be concerned with until I was actually using those rules. And since I don't play 5th edition, it's hard to dive into those with good detail. But anyways, here's what I have, what I understand of Project Black Flag. It's going to be compatible with all 5e D&D stuff. More or less what they're doing with it is they're doing what Pathfinder did to D&D 3.5. So they're taking what exists class-wise, and their version of the classes, their version of the abilities and how the leveling works and everything else is going to be better, a little bit more potent than the existing ones, but you can use the existing ones in the Project Black Flag's game without any issues as far as compatibility goes. It'll just be slightly weaker in certain aspects. They use the standard game mechanic setups of you roll some dice, you have a GM, you have a PC. You have 5 elements of core fantasy that they want to emphasize whenever you're creating adventures and building scenarios and stuff for their world. The world has to have magic is how they have it. There's magic everywhere in the world. There's heroic adventure, so a lot of the adventures have to be heroic. There's unique locations to explore. There's power structures and systems, i.e. guilds and things in the background moving around to influence what's going on. And there has to be conflict. When you go to create a character, you first create a concept, then you pick a class. Then your starting hit points is determined as maximum hit dice at level 1. So say a fighter's a D10, a fighter would start with 10 plus their constitution score, bonus. So that's not too much different than most D&D starting classes. You then pick you also get a class proficiencies that you get bonus that you get to pick some skills with. You determine your ability scores using the standard rolls of 4 dice minus the lowest. And you need 6 of those stats like normal. In addition to that, you can choose one of those stats that's a 16 or lower and add a +2 to it. And you can add a +1 to a stat that's 17 or lower. And no stat can be higher than 20, which is the cap that 5th edition had. Which, me from an older game editions, I don't like it. Remember, my opinion is going to be slightly jaded because I love 3.5 3rd edition Pathfinder. Choose a lineage and heritage and choose a background. The lineage and heritage is your dwarf, elf, human aspect. That's the only 3 that they released with this first booklet. And then to choose the background, the only backgrounds they released was soldier and scholar. And it looks more potent than the soldier and scholar you would get from 5th edition. And then they listed a group of talents. And it wasn't a lot. It was like 2 or 3 per group, say rogue talents, say fighting talents, say magic talents. And that's kind of where I stopped reading into major detail. And that is what they've released so far. Based on what I can see is, unless 5th edition adds the bonus to the stats starting, I would say that's the first thing they do that is different. And I like it. It might be something I add to my games on rolling up characters. The difference would be I wouldn't have the max of 20s unless I wanted to do the starting stat can't exceed 20. And then from there, I'd allow them to level them higher, get magical items that raise them, so on and so forth. Because the 20 cap as your maximum cap doesn't make a lot of sense to me in a game that's all fantasy. So that's the update I got for Project Black Flag. When they release the next playtest booklet, I'll get it. I'll read through it. With that, I should have more information on class and stuff, or I should have more information on certain aspects to playtest. And when I can get that all read and put down a little bit on paper, I'll go over it again as a video. Well, until we all game again.